What's the story, wrestling fans? Who shot Johnny Bravo? And Rich Swann versus Shamrock for the title. All that and more coming up. Welcome back to the Wrestle Story. We discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Wednesday after AEW and NXT, and every Friday after SmackDown. Today I have a special Impact stream. Something that's a little bit different than what we've done in the past. I did watch Impact tonight. Hello, Scott. Hello, Zandel. How you doing? Swoggle. Yes. AJ Swoggle. Or what did they call him? AJ... Did they call him AJ Swoggle? Is that what they called him? Hello, Mrs. Gleen. It was the phenomenal one. It's a Mr. G show. Nice. Yes, Maven did not watch Impact with me. I watched Impact by myself. So she is not with me. So yeah. So this will be a Mr. G show. Ian2224, thanks for following. Appreciate it. So we're going to talk about Impact here. Started the show off, we had Johnny Bravo in the hospital having been shot. Not wondering if he's going to survive or not, you know? And we find out Scott D'Amore is apparently has power of attorney over Bravo, I guess, is what ended up happening here. I haven't seen it all yet. How you doing, observing stuff? It wasn't too bad. I mean, you know, considering I haven't watched a lot of Impact, kind of trying to catch up on some of the storylines and stuff that's taking place. I have been following kind of the Johnny Bravo thing, and so it's you know, I like what they do with it as far as like storytelling. Some of the matches are a little bit to be desired at times, but you know, it is what it is, and so then we have Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz versus the Sea Stars for in the Knockouts Tag Team Championship quarterfinals. I wasn't impressed with this match. I felt that it was sloppy at times, at best. I just this match, just the flow of it didn't seem to be good. Hello, Maven, how you doing? So you know, this match did not impress me a whole lot. I think that there could have been a lot, and I don't think it was. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. It was more the Sea Stars that were the issue in this match, as they seemed to be kind of slow and reacting and like out of sync. So I wasn't impressed with what was taking place with the Sea Stars. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz end up getting the win. Again, not impressed with this match at all. I didn't watch any of this. I know, that's why I told everybody. I said, you didn't watch any of this, so it's me by myself doing this. So we'll see how this goes. You know, I think this is the first... Is this the first time I've done this by myself? I think it's the first time I've done this by myself. Zandel says Impact is a really good show, but they don't get a lot of attention. Again, Zandel, you know, watching it, I like the storylines. I think it's cool with the storylines, what they're doing. So yeah. How weird. Maven in the chat and not on the screen. Yes, definitely. It is weird not having Maven in the chat. Or not on the screen and in the chat. So yeah. But yeah, it's you know, Impact seems to be good at telling the story aspects of things, or at least trying to tell stories. So then we were trying to find out who Jordan's partner is for the Women's Knockout Tag Team Championship tournament. And we find out it is Jazz. she's a little bit different from the last time I saw her. Looks a little bit different from the last time I saw her. I saw all of this, but I have no idea who I was looking at. Yeah, because a lot of it is... Some of them were in WWE at one time and are now, obviously, at Impact now. So Jordan ends up having Jazz as her tag team partner. Hello, John L. How you doing? Did you watch Impact tonight? Not a bad thing, just different. LOL. Yeah, and you kind of have to listen to it, and like the old wrestler Jazz. Yes, like the old wrestler Jazz. Yes, former WWE Jazz. Yes, she is going to be Jordan's partner in the tag team tournament. They had a mystery partner for Jordan, and then it was announced tonight that Jazz is going to be her partner. She's still wrestling. Apparently, she is. They had her in the back, and like I said, she's changed a lot since the last time I saw her. But it's been a long time since I've seen her. So, at first I was trying to figure out who it was, and then they said who it was, and I was like, interesting, because she doesn't look like what she looked like, years ago. So, yes, it is Jazz from WWE, NWA. She will be Jordan's partner in the tournament. Maven says, I did see that on Twitter. Yes. So you're going to do an Impact every Tuesday if it's something you're going to add to the channel. Right now, I'm considering it. Depends on how this goes. I may give this a shot a couple times. I'd like to do this in Ring of Honor because I did watch Ring of Honor, or most of it. I still have a little bit of Ring of Honor left to watch. I'd like to do a Ring of Honor show too. So yeah, it's something that is, we could be doing. This is part of some of the things I would like to do is do more of expand and do Impact and do Ring of Honor. So yeah, John, now right now the plan would be to do something like this every week. That's kind of where I'm headed with this. I don't know if Maven will be with us because she's got some other things she does too, so it might just be me. And if I end up sucking at this, then, it might not be done for very long. So we'll see. Then we had Ethan Page and Josh Alexander backstage. Apparently Ethan Page is giving Josh Alexander good news. Doc Gallows is out 4 to 6 weeks. And Ethan says somebody should get a pat on the back. But Josh says somebody is stupid. As the Gallows out, the North can't get their belts back. So because Gallows is out, they couldn't get a tag team shot for, the next 4 to 6 weeks. Then we go to Wrestler's Court, where we are having the Johnny Bravo court case. Ha, you don't suck at this. Well, it's a little bit different because I can't feed off of you, which is why chat's going to help me out here. Because of you guys chatting, it's going to help me out in responding to things and kind of getting through this. So, chat away so I can kind of talk to you guys and speak about things that are happening in life and wrestling in general. So we get a glimpse at the Wrestler's Court. It's kind of like People's Court. And Madison is representing Swinger, and D'Lo Brown is representing the boys, which is, kind of interesting. Are you going to do NXT review and the NXT UK review on Thursday, or are you just going to stay up Friday since it's Thanksgiving on Thursday? We will not have our regular review on Thursday because of all the cooking and stuff that we'll be doing for Thanksgiving and staying busy doing that. Observing stuff. I like Suicide is on there. Yes! In fact, we'll talk about Suicide here in just a little bit. We're going to do NXT and AEW both tomorrow, so we'll have NXT and AEW tomorrow, but NXT UK probably will not be done this week. Madison brings up that Dreamer is the judge, and she basically brings up you can't be the judge because he basically conducted the case. So he and D'Lo Brown end up switching spots. So now D'Lo Brown is the judge, and Tommy Dreamer is now the other lawyer. Madison points out that the case was done by a mastermind and alone should prove that Swinger is not guilty. Falaba is first to testify. He says Swinger is bitter. Bravo may follow the best man. Cody Deere is next up and says they found the gun in Swinger's fanny pack. AC states that everyone's fingerprints were on the gun, including Brian Pillman and Ron Simmons. A lot of, old wrestling taking place. And considering Brian Pillman's fingerprints were on the gun, I'm hoping it's Brian Pillman Jr. and not, the other Brian Pillman, because he's kind of dead. So then we go to our next match. We're going to do NXT and AEW both tomorrow. Yes. Rohit Raju versus Suicide in the Rohit Challenge. So Rohit's first out, and of course asked for Mike to cut his usual promo before bringing out Hello Ian 2007-55. Thank you for following. Before bringing out his challenger, he runs the viewers down, being nothing compared to him, and he says, so then we're going to get Rohit versus Suicide. Going to be in and out because I'm cleaning the kitchen up. All right. So Rohit says Suicide doesn't deserve a shot, but that he is not being fooled, so makes the match a non-title match. So he's going to give Suicide the match, but this is a non-title match because he believes that Suicide is TJP. So we go through the match. It's kind of cool. This is some of the stuff I wish WWE would do with the whole idea of, throwing something out there that's kind of, out of the ordinary. Hi, I'm from Robert G. I like your streams. Thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate that. Throwing things out there that are kind of out of the ordinary. It's interesting that you watch some of these other shows, these other wrestling organizations, and they do some of the old school stuff that used to be done, and not, going over the top with the either throwing out stupid storylines or something that just doesn't make any sense at all. So I kind of like what they did with this. So in the match, Rohit ends up taking off the mask of Suicide, and which was really good. So he takes the mask off, and at first we don't see who it is, and then TJP's music hits, and he comes out, and he's standing at the top of the ramp, and Rohit's standing there like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I can't believe it's not you under the mask. And so we get a pin, and then we find out it's Crazy Steve that was in the Suicide mask. So Crazy Steve ends up getting the win with the help of the distraction from TJP. Again, I like what they did with this. This was a good way to tell a story and have a twist in there to make it more interesting. Then we're backstage with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. They're hyping Shamrock's match and telling him he's going to become the world champion. Moose shows up to put down the world title, which Swann, who's before saying he has respect for Ken, but will be coming for him in that world title. So, then we have Tenille and Caleb with a K. Basically, just doing a shoot, which, it's one of the storylines that I've seen a couple times, so it's kind of cool what they're doing with that. But then we get Kimberly with Deonna Purrazzo versus Killer Kelly with Renee Michelle. Wasn't real impressed with this match, but it was okay. Hello, Ichigo. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. How are you? So we have Kimberly with Deonna Purrazzo versus Kayla Kelly with Renee Michelle. Again, like I said, I wasn't impressed with the match either. It's just the flow of it wasn't there for me. It seemed to be kind of out of place at times, and was not fluid in what they were doing. And so, however, I will say at the end of the match, I like what happened. So we have Kimberly ends up getting the win. And then we have, after the match, how you doing, Ray Palmer? After the match, we have Susie's music hits, and she comes out and stands there. And she basically is saying that her friend is here, and they hurt her friend. And she turns her back, and then out comes Su Yung. And which was cool because the editing on this had to be done really well since they're one and the same. So they had Susie standing at the top of the ramp with Purrazzo and Kimberly standing in the ring, and Su Yung comes out and comes down to the ring and basically attacks Purrazzo and Kimberly. And then Su Yung ends up getting her stained glove out. And Kimberly ends up getting pulled out of the ring by Deonna Purrazzo. So that's kind of where that ended up. Waiting for Undisputed Era tomorrow. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what they do on NXT. Interesting to see. So we'll see what happens there. The NXT's been pretty good the last couple weeks, and hopefully they keep that going, because they had a lot of bad shows there for a while. So then we're backstage with the Motor City Machine Guns, talking about them being healthy again, and so they're ready to go challenge for a title at some point in time. Then we have Willie Mack backstage. Again, talking about how the ref stopped the match last week, and they weren't real happy about that. So this was based off of last week, and I didn't see last week, so I'm not sure what happened there. Leon Ruff wants a triple threat match. Leon Ruff will get killed. However, they'll probably have him win, just based on the storyline we have going on. Because Gargano and Priest will beat the crap out of each other. So then we have Ethan Page with Josh Alexander is going to face the Phenomenal One. They actually play the music of AJ Styles. So I'm curious as to how they did this. AJ Swoggles, yes. So I'm assuming AJ Styles gave the okay for this, but it just seems kind of odd, with the whole WWE having issues with the Twitch and all of this stuff, and then they somehow tied the AJ thing into this match. So I'm curious to see, and probably won't see anything about it, but I'm wondering if AJ Styles was okay with this. Yeah, this sent me rushing back to her to ask if you had seen it. Yeah, because I was like, this is weird, because it was AJ's music. He came out in gear looked like AJ's. They called him the Phenomenal One. And so I was like, this is kind of odd. And so I'm not sure, again, I'd be curious to see what AJ Styles said about this. Of course, he's probably going to deny any of it. Hornswoggle in the diaper, yeah. So I don't know, I don't know what to think of this, because it was just kind of, is this AJ's way of getting back at Vince? So because of the fact that they can't be on Twitch and they can't go do these things like this, so AJ Styles approved this whole AJ, the whole AJ Swoggle concept? Or was this just, and since he is friends with Gallows and Anderson, I'm curious. I'd be curious to see what sort of impact, or what sort of what involvement AJ Styles had in this particular match, and the whole idea behind the AJ Swoggle thing. So again, it was Paige had a chance to pin him and pulled him up by the hair and basically said, "No, I'm going to send a message." And some things happen. Swoggle ends up getting the pin. But before this, Carl Anderson basically said that this will, if he can beat our phenomenal one, if Paige can beat our phenomenal one, you'll get a title shot. If not, then you won't get one. So Swoggle ends up getting the pin. Again, I like the concept of this. What they did with it was pretty cool. And I'm curious to see what they think about this. That was a shot at WWE. Yeah, and the thing I wonder is how much did AJ have to do with this? Because he probably okayed this. I'm guessing. He had to have okayed it, I would think. And since Gallows and Anderson have, they've worked together a lot, I wonder how much AJ had to do with this. And how much... Because I don't feel that AJ's been used right in WWE. And maybe this is his way of getting at them. Since WWE is so protective of their talent, they probably wouldn't put their approval on that. No, I don't think WWE's not going to. The question I have is would AJ Styles put his approval on it and say, go for it? Which would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to see what he, if he gave it the okay, and if he said, yes, do this, I'm curious to see, and find out if he had actually was kind of behind some of this. So then after the match, Alexander basically tells Ethan Page, do not let them get in your head. We go back to Wrestler's Court with a Swinger on the stand. Madison is finished with Dreamer. Swinger says he's the most over he has ever been and calls himself the O.J. Simpson of professional wrestling. Well, you say that, you're probably going to lose your case. So will AJ be in trouble for being involved? I mean, I suppose he could always deny it, but I would think he had to have. He would have had to have had something to do with this, and okayed it. If that's okay, if that's AJ Styles' way of hitting back at Vince McMahon is going to take him out that triple threat match. Well, I mean, honestly, do you think AJ Styles has been booked well? And since he lost his Twitch account, do you think he's been booked well? Because I personally don't think he's been booked well. I mean, he was made captain of the Raw team, but overall, I don't think he's been booked well. So that's why I wonder if he had something to do with this concept and this idea, which would be interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if he, if he had something to do with it. I think it would be, again, it's definitely a shot at WWE. And I think if Vince ever got word, when that he had something to do with it, I think he'd probably take it out on AJ. But I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things, I'd almost think that since Gallows and Anderson are, and maybe they're not friends anymore, but since Gallows and Anderson are friends with him, you would think that that they would have AJ's approval and him saying, okay, yeah, do it, because I think it'd be a cool concept. So I don't know. When they said the Phenomenal One, I was like, AJ's going to come out? No, he's not. AJ isn't going anywhere. It doesn't matter if he's been booked well. The dude is superstar, and Vince isn't going to just stop putting him on TV for whatever reason. Well, I agree. I don't think he's going to stop being put on TV, but how much crap storylines is he going to be put in? Look what they did to the Revival. I mean, you have one of your top tag teams, and you put them in stupid positions, like stupid segments, and made them look dumb. And so I feel that they've kind of done that with AJ with some of the stuff he's done. And then they did this here tonight on Impact, and I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if AJ has something to do with this, as kind of a shot at WWE. So Swinger brings up that he wouldn't do it, and it's obvious he's being set up. Of course he's being set up. Jeez. I, for one, haven't seen anything earth-shattering out of AJ Styles since the Billion-Yard match. I mean, it's not me asking when his contract is up, and I will be retiring. I think the biggest issue is again, he's had some good stuff. I mean, if you go back and watch some of his stuff in Impact and things like that, he's done some good stuff. It's just I don't think WWE uses him right. So James Mitchell's put on the stand by Dreamer to ask what expertise he may bring to the case, and Dreamer asks about Virgin Blood in his world. This brings Rosemary to the stand as who Mitchell thinks wants the Virgin Blood from Bravo. Dreamer asks Rosemary if she has ever really loved Bravo. She says no. Bravo comes out and he's not very happy. Hearing what Rosemary has said. Bravo says he knows who shot him. He smelled who it was. Interesting. So he knows who shot him because the guy stinks. I personally don't think he cares. He's in the final run of his career and he's done it all. I don't think it will matter. If he puts in some silly storylines, no one will remember. Well, I agree. Reading skills, Mr. G. Yeah. What did I say? Me asking when his contract is up and will be retiring. Oh, yeah. Reading skills. My bad. So then we go back at Wrestler's Court after a break, and Larry D is hooked up to a lie detector test. Larry D Dreamer sprays Larry D with perfume from the Wrestle House and turns into Lawrence D, and he admits to shooting Bravo. So we find out who did it. So apparently this storyline is over. The whole who shot Johnny Bravo. Then we have Falaba versus Daivari. Ends up being a no contest because Joe Doring and EY come out and destroy both of them. Why? I don't know. Because Eric Young wanted to be on the mic, I guess, and talk about how good he is. He basically says, we are looking at the truth in Doring and Eric Young. Rhino comes out to attack them. Not good to have 1-on-2. It doesn't work out. Doesn't work out for anybody. I think he's a part of a 5-year deal now. When it's up, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's something like that. He's done. He just signed a contract here just recently. See, this is very storyline focused, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is storyline focused, which is why it's hard to follow because picking it up in the middle of everything and trying to kind of have an idea what I'm talking about, which would explain why I am totally lost. Well, I'm lost on some of it because I've watched some of Impact and know some of it, but I don't know all of it. But they do a good job. Again, Impact does a good job of having a storyline to follow. Where WWE, like this week, they may do something, and the next week they completely change it. So Rhino ends up getting left in the ring. after Doring and Young basically destroyed them. They haven't been put in a women's championship, right? I just got a bad feeling on Monday that he's going to be replaced. I don't know. We'll have to see, Joe, now. See what happens. So then we got backstage and we went with Swoggle and Crazy Steve. Swoggle is telling Crazy Steve he looks ridiculous in the suicide outfit, and having the pain on his face. TJP comes in to talk about Steve now getting an X Division title. Brian Myers walks in to put them all down. So it looks like TJP and Myers will be facing one another. So kind of, I think, where we're headed with this, which is kind of cool. I know I've watched Brian Myers' toy show on YouTube, and Swoggle's been on there quite a bit, so we know that they're good friends and kind of hang out, and so kind of interesting. Then we have Deanna and Kimber. They're backstage. They go to James Mitchell and they ask, "Can you help us get rid of Su Yung?" He says he can, for a price. He will tell them the price later, but he's happy to help them. So we'll see what happens with this storyline as they try and get rid of Su Yung. Then we have the main event. Ken Shamrock with Sami Callihan versus Rich Swann for the Impact World Championship. Overall, a good match. I felt this was a solid match. It was fluid. Wasn't a lot of, sloppy looking wrestling going on. It was interesting because there's a storyline to this, and we'll kind of talk about that here in just a second. So the fact that Ken Shamrock is like 95 years old and still wrestling is amazing. But this is a good match, and basically we get Swann winning the match, and then after, Sammy takes out the referee. Sammy comes in the ring and Shamrock takes out the referee, and then they start beating down Swann. So they're beating him up, and then Eddie Edwards comes out and gets hit in the head by the baseball bat. We then have a lot of other people come out. D'Lo Brown gets in the ring and gets punched out by Shamrock. So does this mean that we're going to have a D'Lo and Shamrock bout? Two 95-year-old guys going at it in a match on Impact, possibly? That'd be crazy. And that's kind of, the way the show ended. One thing I will say about Impact, considering, I've watched some of it over the last couple months, but I haven't watched it enough to be able to stick with storylines and things like that. Impact does have storylines. So if you pick up in the middle of something, you kind of lost on what's happening. But I do like the fact that they do carry out storylines, and it's not, I'm going to have... Even the stupid storylines they stick with, it seems. The whole Who Shot Johnny Bravo, I don't know if they, that's the best storyline, but they stuck with it and kind of gave it an ending, I think, tonight. And so I kind of like what they do here in Impact. And, I mean, if you guys are interested, leave a like, leave a message in the comments, and I will look to do this again as... this is like I said, this is something new, something different, and so I will probably do this again if people are interested in us doing Impact, possibly Ring of Honor, throwing it in there because Ring of Honor kind of does some of the same stuff with storylines and stuff. So if you are interested in continuing this, leave comments in the comment section. Make sure if you have not hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed to the channel. or the follow button on Twitch. And I think not we, Maven's not with me tonight. I will be back tomorrow night with Maven as we are going to do NXT and AEW tomorrow night. Since Thursday is Thanksgiving, we will not have our normal NXT UK, NXT Thanksgiving show, as we will be busy making food. I'm going to go, but happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and stay safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT. You too, John Al. You stay safe. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. So, like I said, if you would like to have more of this, more expanded wrestling stuff, leave comments in the comment section on YouTube so we know that you are interested in this. And with that, I am going to take off. Everybody, stay safe. See you tomorrow night. For those of you that will not be with us tomorrow night for our AEW NXT show. And again, Maven will be with me tomorrow. But for those of you that will not be with us tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving for those of you in the United States. And for everybody else, stay safe. With that, I am out. Peace out, everybody.